This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Now, I've never been one to pull punches, and I'm not going to pull them now. These guys have been great friends to this channel, and you know, ever since I played their very first game, which I was very impressed with. And what I'm talking about is this little game that comes in a box. It was Bag of Dungeons. Well, they just come out with another game called Bag of Dungeons 2: The Cursed Forest by Gunpowder Studios. Okay. The neat thing about this is you can combine both sets and do some really neat things with it, okay? We're going to go down. We're going to take a look at it. I'm not going to explain all the rules, okay? There's a lot going on in this little itty-bitty box. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is very good. But I'm also going to come back up here for a minute, and I'm gonna explain some things. And then we're going to talk for a minute, and then we're going to go back down. So let's go down, check out Bag of Dungeons. So I'm not going to explain everything here, but I'm going to go through a few things and just hopefully you understand. You can play this with a whole bunch of different players, okay? So you can play it with up to 4 people, which it works really well. And this is, you know, this is just one of those very special games. And I really mean this. We're going to talk a little bit about a few things and things that I would do or I'm going to do, especially if you're going to play this solo. And I'm somebody that really enjoys to play this solo. But I'm going to give you a quick run through, okay? You're going to start off with just one tile, and you're going to have your meeple on there. But what you really want to do is they sell figures for this now. So all these characters and everything, you can get a figure for it. And I gotta tell you, there are some games that put out miniatures just to put out miniatures. No, these are absolutely beautiful miniatures. So you would start here, and you know, you would take your turn and you would use all the AP that you have. If you want to lay down a tile, for instance, well, you would lay down a tile and that would cost an AP. If there are certain different actions that would cost you different amounts of AP, all right, action points. You're going to do a movement, you're going to move an AP. Going through certain areas is going to cost you AP, right? So you're going to be doing this, okay, and trying to find your way through. Anytime you turn over, particularly if you place a tile, like we came over here, and we turned over this tile, this is a monster tile, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to put a monster token. Doesn't mean you have to go in there, but if you do, that is going to get replaced, and then you are going to take this monster bag, okay, and you are going to pull out a monster, okay? Boom. There you go. The green side is the easier side. The other side is the more challenging side. You're probably going to start with the green side. And on each one of these, like the Swamp Demon, okay, has a health of 15. So you would take and move your cube here up to 15. So anything past this here, okay, means that you would need to the double dot here means that you would get 2 items. Now, items are going to help you along the way, and you're going to start with a bunch of different items in particular, okay? You can start with maybe a jar of angry fairies or a crossbow, okay? This is going to help you, and it has certain costs on it. This is a 2-handed weapon. So if our guy here wanted to use it, okay, it would take up both of his hands, all right? We may have a extra thing in here, which will give us, you know, help us with health and things like that. And what it's going to do, it's going to cost you a certain amount of AP, okay, to use that. So for instance, you know, anytime I want to get into a fight with this dude, I want to use some of this. And what it's going to do is 1 dice damage, 6 to 12 damage, okay? It's a range weapon. You can't range weapon in the same square as another monster. You have to be outside there. So if you want to use a range weapon, you have to be outside there. How does combat work? It's really, really simple. If we were in the same thing here, it's going to be 2 dice plus 3. So I'm going to take 2 dice and roll. All right. And that's going to be 6 plus the 3 is going to be 9. Now our monster here gets 2 dice plus 6. That's not good. So that's 4, 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. So we look at the difference. That means we would take 5 hit points of damage. Okay? And you can keep on fighting. You want to keep a little bit of AP, and this is where this AP really works, is if you want to escape. Oh man, I'm getting beat down. I don't want to do that. That's too dangerous. I've got to find another way out of here somehow. Okay? In the main game here, you're going to be trying to get these acorns, and you're going to be trying to get to this exit where you are going to fight the final villain here. Once you get all these acorns here, that is going to help you out, and each acorn that you put down there is going to deduct from the combat, because you are going to fight the maiden Mora Ghoul. Hopefully I'm not butchering that too much. Okay, after all players have moved, Mora Ghoul will move towards the nearest seed bearer. So whoever has all the seeds is, if you're playing multiplayer, this creature is going to keep on moving after them and try to get them. Mora Ghoul rolls 2 dice for movement, has 20 health and 4 dice of combat. But once you start dropping off these here, he's going to go down in combat. Dice. Once you drop this off at the maiden tree here, it is going to drop down in combat. So it'll be easier to try to defeat. Yeah, good luck defeating half this stuff. The miniatures are ridiculous on this. This has a great campaign story to it. You could just play it where if you get all these, you win if at least one adventurer survives and you have placed a brood seed in each of the 4 red vine tiles. So there's a bunch of different red vine tiles. So you're going to want to put those seeds there. That's how that's going to go. But there's the thing I was just explaining to you was from the Chronicle of the Ring, I think. They have a campaign where you can. The final phase of the game, the battle between Mora Ghoul and the lifting of the curse of the forest, because the forest is completely enchanted and, of course, it is cursed right now. There's a wonderful storybook in here that explains everything. I read the first one. I don't want to ruin. I'm trying to get around a lot of things because I don't want to ruin it for you, because this is a game that I really think that you need to have. The other thing is, if you notice this particular tile here, I know I'm not going over everything as much, but I really want you guys to get a feel for this and how much improvement this is. And we'll talk more about this up top. But you see this little thing here. You can come into this square and then you could start pulling tiles from the first set if you have it, which are dungeon tiles. It's like you go down into a dungeon. Okay, so you can mix the 2 games together, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. Now I'm going to pause this here, and I've got something to say up top, and then we're going to come back. Okay, I'm going to stop right here, okay, for a second, and I'm going to talk more about the solo stuff on the other side. This is the thing that I felt that the first game had a problem with. Now, let me make something perfectly clear. If I don't say these things, I truly believe that I'm cheating you, the audience. It's nothing bad about this game. It's just, for me, it's a head scratcher. You have these APs, and if you want to play one character, it doesn't make sense to me. Okay? You go down your AP, and then you bring your AP up, and you just keep going. It makes the AP worthless in a way. in the solo version if you play just a single character. I could see the AP making sense if you're playing solo with 2 characters. And I'm going to explain this down on the thing. So I came up with something in my head, and this is by no means official. This is not Trashing Gunpowder Studios. I love those guys, and I think they're brilliant. This is a brilliant game. I'm going to tell you now before you get on the other side and you hear. This is probably one of my favorite things. It's just I made a little tweak here with the AP, and I put in a monster phase. Okay, and for me, playing solo by myself with 1 character, and those miniatures are gorgeous. You don't need the meeples. Make sure you get the miniatures with this, because those miniatures are beautiful. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to explain it to you. I try to explain it to you, and then I talk a little bit more about the game, and then we will see you on the other side of this to talk about what my final thoughts are. Okay, solo rules. Solo rules, this is where I kind of get a little... They don't exactly work for me, and I'm somebody that just wants to play the 1 figure. I can see if you're playing 2 figures how the APs will really work for you, but I figured something out, and you can use this if you want, and it may help you. And this is not official. This is not from Gunpowder Studios, who've made a perfect game as far as I'm concerned. This is just a lot of fun, very enjoyable. I didn't go over everything in the prior part of this. But there are also spider webs that you're going to walk into, and all these little spiders are going to come out and give you problems. There's swamps. There's different tiles that are going to do different things. The rule book is only about 18 pages long, but what it has in it are just absolutely fantastic explanations as far as things are going. All the different items you can get, I wanted to show you. Let me get this in front of the camera. Explaining some of the, like the mandrake, the different tiles, the start and exit, the quicksand, everything that you get in here that can really make this, it's so much in this little itty bitty box. It's just everything that you can ever expect, and the ton of different beautiful figures in here. Like I told you, I showed you a couple. I just want to paint them. I love the wood bases. Look at the little Bag of Dungeons stamp underneath. Very detailed, a lot more detailed than a lot of stuff that I get from big manufacturers. And you're going to be playing up to 7 or 8 characters. Now solo you can play 2 characters, but what if you just want to play, I just want to be this wood dude, okay? The AP doesn't make any sense. You go here and then just start all over again. It doesn't it doesn't work for me. For instance, the way I kind of figured how I would do this, if I was here and I used up all my AP, and this is just rules that I put out that are home brewed for myself. So you know what that means? It really doesn't mean anything. And let's just say that even though these don't connect properly, let's just say this was here like that for some reason, or here. Whoops. Well, again, we mess everything up. Why not? It's my channel, so we just do things the wrong way. Okay, you're going to continue on your quest, of course, to get all these things. But after you defeat each one of these enemies, okay, what I like to do is, if you have at least one enemy thing, a spawn area, to use that. And what I like to do is on a 1, 2, 3, nothing spawns. Okay, once I use all my AP. So at the end of the turn, I have what I consider is the monster phase. Okay. And for me, this is how I work it. I'll roll this. On a 1, okay, nothing happens. My AP goes back up to 5, and I start using my AP again. But if it goes anywhere from 4, 5, or 6, I'm going to spawn a monster closest to at a spawn point closest to my guy. And then I'm going to roll for his movement. If he has a movement of 6, he's going to come right up on me, okay? And then and this makes the game harder. And then I'll pull out the monster and I will engage him, okay? So I may want to save some AP, especially if I'm anywhere near there. and go, well, you know what? I'm gonna go into my monster phase. I want to keep one, so if in case something comes at me, I can escape it the minute it jumps into my thing. So I would pull the monster, of course, once he gets in the square, and that is the monster that we would fight. If I feel I can beat him, okay, 2 dice plus 5. Well, I think I can. I think I could beat that dude. He's a 13. Well, no, not with those type of rolls, right? And I would roll. Oh, that's a little bit better. So it's 12 plus 3, which would be 14. But it's 2 dice plus 5. plus 5. Well, I'm going to take a little bit of a damage there. So maybe I would go down and then use that AP to get out of there. Okay, knowing that the Banshee there, I'm going to get the full AP. I'll use whatever I have here to hopefully defeat him and be able to pull 2 items out of the bag here. That's the way I think it really works best. Now, you may not roll anything. You may if you have something equal distance, you're going to want to basically roll a die and decide which one it would spawn out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 4, 5, 6. That's where he would spawn, where something might spawn. But the other thing is, you don't do it every single turn. If there's still a monster that is roaming, okay, what I would do is it's only monsters roaming equal to the number of players. So if you have 2 players, then there can only be 2 monsters roaming. If you're playing solo, only 1 monster can roam. Once this is killed, then you go back to rolling to see if anything spawns. Okay, nothing would spawn. Keep moving along and spawning tiles and redoing your AP. And your monster phase comes at the end when you finally use all your AP or save a certain amount of AP and say, okay, that's it for me. Okay, if there was a monster here, he would then, instead of spawning, because there's equal number of monsters out there, I would roll to see how much movement. 5, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course he would make it. Or, however you want to do movement. Maybe you just want to say, okay, they can move 1. That works as well. Okay, but never more than what is on the table, or else it'll just be a slaughter. This makes the game harder. Now, in solo rules, it's just, all it is that you're using your AP, you go down to 0. Okay, I'm going to redo it. And then you just keep going. So you wouldn't even need this. You could just keep going and, stop if you want to. And negotiate, you could always save an AP when you get up to here and say, well, I'm going to save this and what's in here. That's the way I see things. The spiders are constantly coming after you, which is difficult. That makes things, but I think adding this little spawn thing gives a little bit more legitimacy to the APs in solo. If you are playing with more than one character, it means, okay, that's the end of my turn. Let's go to the next guy. I want to save a couple of APs because they do have this thing where you can tag and you can actually help the other person. For instance, if this guy's just completely surrounded with particular, is having a tough time, there is a way that you can come and you could possibly help out your fellow partner. Okay, you also can play cutthroat where you can attack each other. But for me, and the beauty of this game, I don't think that works as well as just playing together or playing solo with one character and seeing if you can make it through here, because this is brutal. This is glorious. This is a very, very special game. And I think they have improved on what I consider a very good game to begin with. I love the theme. I love the campaign part. I love the story, which is so well thought out. I love that you added miniatures to this, which these are beautiful. These are absolutely beautiful. And you're going to have all kinds of, all the different characters just beautifully printed out. They're just screaming to be painted. I like the little thief here, which just really works out well. And each one of them has, and I didn't even go over, they have specials, they have things that you can add in. There's all, I didn't even go over it. I have to wet items in here because why? Why ruin it for you? You need to experience this yourself. This is fantastic. In solo, you could play with 1 life, or when you're playing with a group, you could play up to 3 lives. So if you lost all your life, you would lose all your items and everything, and then you would go down 1 life, go back to start, and hopefully make it all the way through. Solo, I like the point that you could just have 1 life. Good luck trying to make it through. And make this game as tough as you possibly can, so you get tons and tons and tons of replayability. This is ingenious. I love the whole acorn thing, having to try to find these. I love what they did with the first one when you had to try to find the spear and fight the dragon, which was hard as anything. Another brilliant game. I actually like Bag of Dungeon 2 better than the first one, believe it or not. And combining the two of them together, which I haven't done yet, you know, this really gives me a lot of things in my head that I can really do. It is a sandbox that you get to play in, folks. This is just absolutely fantastic. This is my favorite version of this game. I could play this by myself 1,000 times. I love the 4 acorn things, or the children as it's called, and trying to get those to the maiden tree. The bad creature who is just jacked up to the gills, and you got to drop them off at those red vine areas, or else it is going to go bad. And you're going to have to face that dude with 4 dice. You better have enough equipment. You better have enough of everything. This is hard. The story is tremendous. And how you can mix this together with the original just makes the original even better. Okay, and then you can use the characters from the other one in this one. But I'll be honest with you, I mean, this wood dude who I'm going to paint, okay, and I'm going to do a live playthrough of this. Why? Because I really like this. I'm going to paint him up tonight, and over my vacation, which this is a special edition. How many times do you see a video on a Wednesday here on the channel? Not very often. There are a lot of things that go on with this that I didn't even explain because I wanted to save as a surprise for this playthrough. This is one, if this got here before I did my favorite games of 2022, a matter of fact, this actually, I'm keeping a notebook, and I'm going to talk more about that in another thing, of games that come out late that I'm going to consider for 2023, and then games of the year for 2023. This easily would be in my top 10 list. That's how much I like this. That's how much this makes Bag of Dungeons, the original one, that much better. I like dungeon crawls. They're my favorite. And sometimes when you can make something very deep, very enriched, very beautiful, very thematic, and make it really simple, where I can just pick up and play, you know, just like that. Hey, we talked about Lost Relic, how quick that was able to do. This is even better than Lost Relic. This is something special. And being able to combine the two really just adds this just unbelievable flavor, depth, and just beauty to what is already a phenomenal, fantastic game. Okay? A tip of the hat to the boys at Gunpowder Studios. Fantastic. And I highly suggest you go over there. You can find them at gunpowderstudios.com. Write them, say, please, I want a copy of this. Send it to me as soon as, here's my money, Visa, whatever, PayPal, whatever. Get it. Get this. You're not going to be disappointed. I promise you this. This is something special. And you will really enjoy this. And I'm not saying this because they have supported this channel, and they've, you know, I mean, they've always been very kind to me. Okay, very, very kind to me. You see them in the chat sometimes in the channel, and they said, hey, do you want to take a look at Bag of Dungeon 2? I said, yeah, of course I do. And when they sent this, I took a look at it and I go, okay, it's probably just more of the same. No, folks. No, folks. The miniatures make this better. The story makes this better. The trying to find the 4 children makes this better. The monsters are tougher. You have 2 sides to that, which I think is brilliant. The spiders are just fierce and pains in the neck. Everything that they did here is an improvement. I think the tiles look better. I think the forest just makes this magical. Yeah, this is just fantastic. Go check it out. Make sure you check out the live playthrough, which I've added to the list over my vacation, which starts, I believe, after you see this video, and I'll be adding that in. So after Christmas, we are going to be doing a bunch of live videos, and this is going to be one of them. If you're not convinced with what I'm telling you, and you have to see it for yourself, which you should, make sure you check out the channel. I will be doing it either late at night, especially for my friends overseas, okay, which would be a nice morning stream for them. And get ready for a great ride, because this is special. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.